Tēnā koutou e te iwi. Ha ki te ha, manawa ki te manawa. Tihei mauri ora. Kia rongo koutou ki te reo irirangi o Tune Me In podcast.
O tēnā koe e oha, he pātai tuatahi. What has music, or how has music been a part of your life growing up here in Aotearoa?
Kia ora. That's a perfect question for me because that's pretty much the beginning and the middle end of how I understand the world. Without it, growing up in South Auckland, I was surrounded by my whānau, very talented, my mum's whānau in particular, and I've got an our whānau on both sides, on dad and mum's side. The boys are outnumbered like 6-1. And so my mum's sister had 5 boys, and so every holidays I'd go over to their place. They're marshes. Everyone in Pukeko used to think that I was a marsh because I'm one of the whānau, but they were all wickedly talented musicians. The oldest brother, Jason Marsh, just an amazing blues guitarist, just absolute freak of nature. I remember a friend saying, man, imagine what it'd be like growing up with Stevie Vaughan and Hendrix. I didn't have to imagine. I did it. Yeah. My heroes was always my family. For us, the Holy Trinity is Bob Marley, Stevie Ray Vaughan and Jimi Hendrix. They represent for us the 3 things that make music the powerful thing it is. With Bob, it's the lyric and his presence and his pureness of his talent. With Stevie Ray Vaughan, he's a conduit. That guy is not playing his guitar. Somebody's playing him. He just can somehow tap into the source. And then Jimi Hendrix is just pure creativity. And so every artist we ever looked at, we matched them against those 3 qualities. And like there's lots of them in there. There's Etta James, there's Ricky Lee Jones, there's Miles Davis. They all fit those molds in some way, shape or form. So because they had such a powerful role models inside them, really I can put it down to one moment. I was meant to be at school certificate, maths. My cousin pulls up out of the booth and says, hey, we're going to go up to the music store and come for a walk. And I thought, oh, well, the exams don't start till 10. We'll walk up to Hunter's Corner. We go into the music store on the corner. It's Rhythm Rendezvous across the road. I've forgotten the name of this shop. But we walk in there. My cousin walks into the shop. There's this $90 guitar, rusty, dumb bung strings. And he goes, oh, can I play that guitar? Picks it off the shelf and guy goes to find an amp. And I goes, oh, just plug into this little pig amp, little 10-watt pig amp. And I kid you not, on the moment he touches the strings, just Jimi Hendrix comes out, fills the store with this amazing vibe. We are in there for 3 hours straight, non-stop, and he just doesn't stop playing. People are coming in off the streets. It was just amazing. I called that my golden moment because what it did was just give me the just pure chill. Like my whole body was just vibrating like, oh my God. Like he made my whole universe just blow up through sound, through vibration, what he done to the people inside that room. And then eventually the salesman goes, hey, you guys aren't really going to buy them. Like, oh, we haven't got the money. so we left the store and I'm just fully blown. My mind is blown. Like, I want to do that. Whatever he just did to me, because it just like, my skin was just popping out of itself. It was so amazing. And that buzz has never left me. Like I say, I call it my golden moment because I just had this warmth inside me. I'm like, I'm going to do that one day. I have to do what you just did to someone. But I specifically in my mind said, I want to do that to you, my cousin. I want to do that. I want to make you feel what you made me feel. And then, of course, that sent me off for a year. I didn't go back to my cousins for 1 year. And I picked up anywhere I could get a guitar. I'd just go play. I'd walk 12 Ks, borrow a guitar, stay there until midnight, then walk home. I'd travel all the way to Papakura, borrow my auntie's car, go through church, wait till after church, and then get on the bus and take it home, take it back the next week. Any way I could get my hands on things, and I just practiced like a demon. A year later, I went back to see my cousins, and then I said, hey, check this out. I was playing Satriani, I'm doing Malmsteen, I'm playing Metallica, Megadeth, because my cousins so put. But I knew because of their talent, I had to do a thing they can't do. And so, of course, then my cousins like, oh, wow, you're a freak. No wonder you've been listening for a year. And then, of course, so I'm just chasing them because I'm trying to get to the same level they were at. then he then does this thing. He says, bro, we're going to go to this party, have a good time. I'm like, oh yeah, cool. Get to this party. It's like, when we get in there, you're going to pick up your guitar, you're going to go and cut heads. Crossroads is out by then, so the duel between the devil and Ralph Macchio's, that's our actual thing. And we walk into this party, and he's like, yeah, just walk straight up, plug in, and just kill it straight away. And I thought we were coming to have a good time. This is scary as. And the guy, he put me up because I was only 16, 17, and it was a man. But this guy comes up to me and goes, hey, bro, my name's Bruce, and they call me Metal Man. Fella starts playing, and I'm like, bro, that's tinfoil. So I got cocky, picked up because I knew I would just kill him. So I pick it up, and then of course I did to that room what my cousin had done earlier, but I didn't do it to my cousin. I could see that he was like impressed, but he was impressed that I basically that guy could do a thing my cousin couldn't do, and he just wanted me to cut him down. He starts taking me to more of these things, and I'm like, because I don't want to do this is like scary stuff. I just want to play and create. Then I asked my cousin, like, what do I do? How do I get better? How do I get a sound? Like, you've got a sound. How do I do that? So, you've got to listen to the Holy Trinity. You've got to follow the same path they went down. And of course, then I learned about history through music, because like to understand Hendrix, you have to understand that he loves Dylan. To understand Dylan, you have to understand Woody Guthrie. You have to understand the whole folk movement and how he influenced it. And so we started learning about history, and then more importantly, we started getting into the science of sound, like acoustic sciences. And so we were fully into making sounds. And back then, because there's no tech, we've got a double tape deck. You record one, you swap, you put the play one on there, play it back, and record the next lot. And we've only got bunged up instruments, but so we'd start with a guitar line. To make the bass, you play it on the guitar, but you put the recorder on the floor at a distance. And because of degradation of sound, the next time you flip it over, it loses sound quality, so it goes lower and lower and lower. And then, of course, we learned how to arrange the parts for the song that way. And now you can just do it 100 million times. But back then, if you wanted to write a 3-minute song, you have to play the drums perfectly for 3 minutes without any accompaniment, because we didn't have that ability. Then you have to play the bass line. Then you have to play, like, everything has to be done in one take. You can't, there's no room for error. And I think the kids nowadays are getting ripped off because they don't have that commitment to it. They don't have to walk, they don't get things, they're not having to battle the lack of technology, but then the creativity that came from it. So years later, I invited my cousin to a gig, so I thought, like, I'm ready to hit him now. and so he comes to a gig of mine at OMAC, and they walk in. I remember because they came in, I got nervous, and then of course I wasn't even playing my guitar. This was the thing. I actually heard him. I was rapping. I did Michael Franti. We covered one of Spearhead's tracks, and I was pretty on. And so anyway, we finished our set, and like the room was just dead silent. I could hear bums squeaking and stuff, and I could hear people thinking, and they're like, I was expecting them to be like, wow, but it was the opposite. It was just like dead silence. And I thought, oh, we suck. So I woke off the stage, but what happened was we shocked them so hard, there was a delayed response, but then it just turned into, and then the whole thing erupts. I go down, I didn't care about the room, this is my cousin, so I go down to my cousin, I go, cousin, how was that? Looks at me and goes, you boy, he pulls up his jacket and he's got his he nawe ana te kirikiri. Now I'm like, I finally did it. Took me what, 14 years to finally get him back. But yeah, that moment led to all of that, and then I pursued music like the devil. I was trying to find a sound, trying to find my own way. But it really wired me on how I received the whole world, because I was focused there. It kept me out of trouble because I didn't have time to be running around with the bros who were going out in high cars and all the rest of it. Before music, well, I was definitely grew up in South Auckland, so that was just what we did for fun. But once I found that, it really did keep me in my own lane and true to my own self, which is, like I said, you can't really have anything more powerful than that. And then more importantly, like how I arranged my thoughts, how I understood the world, learned about everything, philosophies like history, all that type of stuff. It was really, really powerful.
What's been your influence, or what has influenced you in the realms of tonga pūro, me te ao tākaro?
Puoro, so I went to, my cousin did a course, the same cousin did a course, and he failed the course. He said, but you'll get it, bro, because your brain works better than mine. I can't do that side. We need you to go in there, figure out the business end of things. So I showed up to Mains with the pure task of how do I make money? Because my dad, before I left school, he said, hey, boy, you're a pipe dream. Ain't nobody going to pay you to play their guitar. Now I remember thinking, well, Hendrix died poor. Bob at least had $1 before he died, but yet they all died poor. It's their estates that are rich. And so I thought, yeah, how do you make money? Then I thought to myself, if they were alive today, how much would I pay for them? And this is back in the 90s. And I thought, well, I'd pay $80 max. So I saw the logic of my father's thing, so I went into engineering. But then I did that course purely to figure out, how do you make money? I literally showed up and they go, what do you want to learn? Like, how do you make money? Like, how do you actually make money out of music? I didn't need you to teach me how to play. Cousins already know how to do. I know how to write songs. And I was interested in theory because it just expanded my abilities. But how do you actually make money in this industry? And then Bernard Makawari showed up. Victor Gerbic was our sound engineer teacher at the time, and he brought Bernard in, and Bernard had tonga pūro. And he put them on the table. But then I was all about sex, drugs, and rock and roll, because that was just the world that we were moving in. The moment Bernard played them, I knew that was special. And I only touched them. I never tried to play any of them because I knew intuitively, like I said, because music had made me in tune with my self-awareness. And I knew my energy wasn't right for those things, but I also knew there was something powerful in them and it would come back at some other time. So fast forward another 10 years or so, or maybe 7, 8 years, I end up in Wanganui with pretty much the who's who of tonga pūro. It's everybody except Richard Nuns is there and hidden in Melbourne. That's Te Apa Horo, met Matu Tamaire and them there, Jeremy Hantler and them. We ended up stuck down there. They had the biggest flood in 100 years. We couldn't get out of Wanganui any which way. So we were stuck there for 5 days. James Webster. And so, like I said, just there with the gurus. And so we just were making instruments. So I had a kit, my first kit, which I'm still rolling with today. Most of it got made in this 5-day wā. And then, of course, I felt the real power of that space. The tākaro was because, well, I met a girl. I met a girl whilst on the waka, and she was in the north and I was in Auckland. I was in television and film at the time. And, of course, I was getting tired of just travelling back home every weekend. I decided I need to get home. I don't want to work to go home for a holiday. I want to go home and holiday someplace else, like normal people. So chasing her, ended up in Doubtless Bay, and she happened to know a lady by the name of Paulette Lewis, and she said, hey, they've got a job going, go, I reckon you'd be awesome as a youth mentor. So I met Paulette Lewis and BJ Ewing. They loved me straight away, pretty much set up an interview. I knew when I walked out of the interview, I had the job. It was kind of obvious, but I had no experience whatsoever with youth or pūoro or tākaro at that point, but I'm natural in the play space. And so the first time I engaged with Taipa Area School, Tukaha Milne was doing a delivery there of tonga tākaro. And because of my musicality, my abilities there, I got an awesome memory for the things I like. I literally can see it once and both, for some reason, I can just store it and hold it and, more importantly, recall it. It's one thing to take it, another thing to retain and be able to pull it back up again. The very next day I went to Pongaroo and I delivered his whole suite exactly the way he did it. I even told his dad jokes. He had these dumb dad jokes, but they work. So that got me my start in tākaro. And then I was working for Te Runanga o Te Rarawa, Matua Ross Gregory walked in one day. I was making a tirango. Then I found out he's been delivering in schools since the 60s and 70s. So he became another source of mātauranga. And then I met Kipa Munro, who was also doing tākaro, he's my maurako po. And then, of course, so just getting fed by that and just bumping around schools after school after school. But I was just natural inside the space. But really, all the skills I'd learnt in music, like just trying to be good at the craft, set me up for television and film. Like television and film, just like being in a band. Like the camera, the director, like that's the producer, that's your bass man, they really work the same way. And then of tākaro was easy for me to adapt what I understood from music. And then, like I said, the skills I developed, like quick memory, a good memory, fast to learn things, because you've got to pick things up pretty quick inside the music space. And then application, I was great at reading the room. I had a natural knack for reading the room. And when I was young, my uncle Ed, my dad's baby brother, he passed away when I was about 11, but he had taught me the power of play as a kid, because when he passed away, that was the first real tangi that really, like, where I understood, dying is a thing, like that, the mamai of losing someone, that was the first person to really hit me. But what he had embedded in me is the power of play. He'd always play with us. He was that cool uncle. Always got the first new toy. The first Atari came out, he buys it, brings it around. Hey boy, go play on this thing. The first 10 speed, 20 speeds, the bikes as they're coming out, he buys them, and he'd come around to the house on those new cars and just throw the keys at my dad. That's just the nature of my uncle, just real playful. If he ever told us he would take us out to play, he'd always be true to it. So I understood that, like, never lie to, if you're going to say you're going to do a thing for a kid, make sure you do it. And because of that mark he left on me, I knew that when I'm with these kids, treat them like they're my own. So I never did anything in any school as crazy as some of the things I would do. None of them were anything I didn't already do with my kids, my nieces, my nephews, or things that I didn't think would benefit them, including getting them to fail, including putting them in harm's way, because you can't really learn by harm. I mean, throwing sticks at them and things that actually have to push you. So, like I said, this life really taught me how to be that way, and then I was just natural. And I love Mātauranga Māori, I love Te Reo, and I love Te Ao Māori. And so just applying that in real time and my ability to improv on an instrument, I can do that with people through play. Really, all the different implements of play that I've got, they're just different scales. They play different tunes, and I just learned how to turn whatever group that's in front of me into my little orchestra. So music and tākaro for me really one and the same thing. And I, like I said, a lot of it's just natural talent, but applied experience through all those years of just being, really.
I mean, here, pātai whakamutunga, you're talking about school, and what would, if you were back in school, you know, as a student, what could you see not only benefit you back then, but what about now? Like how would that music classroom look like, or how would that play classroom look like for you being a student now in this kind of age?
Same as what the ideal space would be for me to deliver in. It's all hands-on. It's all experiential learning. I don't need to talk about it forever. Like, let me touch it, let me make it, let me build it, but create spaces for the different types of personalities. Like, I'm a high energy, high output energy. For the quieter kids, that's not that great. But of course, there are tākaro or instruments that are more introvert. And so you don't have to get the mātauranga given to you directly. Sometimes you can just be in the room with it, doing your own thing, and absorb the bits that are important for you. Just understanding that everyone's an individual, and you don't have to solve the whole puzzle yourself. As a teacher, if you can create an environment that they love and they feel safe in, they'll give you as much of themselves as possible, and then you just have to be pono to that relationship. If they're giving it to you, then you got to give it back. Like I said with my uncle, if you're going to light a spark in a kid, then you now are responsible for keeping that ember going, that flame going, and getting them to light up. And so, yeah, a lot more hands-on. I understand firsthand I can't get everyone, so I need a team. I need the ability to work within, say if they're from the music department, I need to be able to tap in. So if I realise a kid is more built for you, I need the ability then to go, oh, you just go, what's the question? Like, you're going to teach you the same thing, but in a way that's more akin to your temperament, to your personality, just understanding, changing the environment, the ability to take them into another environment. Like ultimately, the marae. The marae allows us to look at time and space in a completely different way. You've got the history and the whakapapa of the place that's already built into your curriculum without you having to even input it. Because you don't have to give them everything in order so that they can tick a box. You can give it slowly over time and just let the learning happen through osmosis. I know for a fact if there was a Wiremu in school when I was a kid, I would have jumped in that guy's van. There's no way you're getting me out of the van. Because you travel around, your environment changes all the time, you're meeting new people all the time, you're exposed to new experiences all the time. I know that for me would be the perfect environment, and one that able to change and adapt to what the actual individual kid needs. Currently, the way our system's set up, one teacher's trying to feed 30 kids, 30 plus. There's just no human on the planet that can handle that amount of energy transfer responsibly. And so sooner or later, they have to choose which ones that they're going to let go of because they can't hold space for all of them. I think we need the flexibility in the classroom to, like I said, just as simple as, oh, you're too hyper for me, but Mata Wiremu bounces off the walls, go to Mata Wiremu. You know? Or kids with me, like, sorry dude, I'm too loud for you. You go over there, fire rapua. She's going to wrap around you and give you the right energy. And then, of course, then the kaiako, we can, so for instance, I might send them to you, you might not have the mata, but now you have to learn from me. I now have to teach you what that kid needs, but you've got the right energy and the right temperament, and now you need to upskill your mātauranga. So the environment I'm trying to create for the kids has to be the same for the teachers, where like you have to be nurtured and looked after as well inside the space. So I think that ideal school for me would be pretty much a marae style basis where we don't have to follow the clock. We don't have to worry about bells ringing every hour and then you move to the next thing. Once you've found the right lane for the kid, we really don't need to keep making them go through all the other lanes. And so just creating streams for everybody, the staff and the kids, to be able to just get the learning environment that's best suited for them, to the best of our abilities with your resources.
Nā mihi matua mō tō kōrero. Appreciate your time during this wānanga and all the wānangas we've been a part of, but more so your love and aroha for our kids and for our kaiako in the different spaces from the north to the south, to those that are in and to those that are out. Just lots of aroha matua and thank you for your time today.
Yeah, I'll just close off with one last statement, bro, because this is real important. I had to tell Bernard because he's the first one I heard get it right. If you want to learn something new, particularly from Te Ao Māori, the first tool you need is aroha. The three things, the three non-negotiables to engage with Te Ao Māori in a meaningful way is one, aroha. Aroha for yourself, aroha for the mātauranga and for the kaiako and for the environment that all belongs in. Then you must create time and space. Like you have to then commit, like as a kid, like you said, I made myself sit through the hours of playing that guitar. I made myself walk. I created the time and the space to the craft. And so if you don't have those three things, you might want to have a look at what lane you're in. If you can't hold those three things constantly, you can't do it. So yeah, just as a closing comment for anybody watching, like aroha, time and space, wānanga, making sure that you're fit to do it, because you're not going to be able to create the space properly if you're not willing to do those three things and give the kids and anybody you're working with those same three taonga that are tupuna have left for us. Yeah, mamihi mara.
Nā mihi whakanuia kia Bradley me te whare crescendo. Nā mihi anō kia Lions Foundation mō te putia tautoko. E te iwi, ko Jessica tēnei, mā te wā.